Am I the asshole for accidentally destroying someone's book? Last week, I borrowed one of my friend's books. We're not that close, but we both share a love of reading. Anyway, I was reading said book whilst in the bath last week, and it led to me accidentally dropping it into the tub. The pages are ruined and the book has expanded quite a bit. But in my opinion it's still readable. Of course though, I still felt very guilty and I offered to replace it. She refused and said that I shouldn't worry about it, accidents happen after all, but now I've found out that she's going behind my back and telling all our mutual friends about it. She isn't saying it directly, but she's heavily implying that I didn't try to do anything about it. I'm pretty sure I'm not the asshole, but some of my other friends say I should just be the bigger person and replace her book. However, I'm feeling quite hurt by her words and am now very reluctant to purchase something for her. So what should I do about it? Should I just ignore it or just go ahead and buy her another book? Edit. I've replied to a couple comments, but I think it's better if I just add everything here so everyone can have all the information. Firstly, I offered to replace the book like 5 or 6 times, but each time my friend told me to not worry and that it would just be a waste of money if I did decide to replace it after all I've already read it, she said to me multiple times. Also, regarding the bath controversy, I often read books in the bath to relax a bit in the evening. My friend knows this and even does it herself. I also mentioned that those were probably my plans, i.e. I said something like I can't wait to read this book in the bath later, and she didn't show any expression of discomfort or whatever. In fact, she slightly encouraged me by saying something like, I'm so jealous. I've got work later so I don't have time to relax, jealous in like a friendly joking way. You owe her a new book. You took a risk with someone else's property and destroyed it. You're the asshole for thinking that you don't have to take responsibility to replace what you destroyed. ETA, you should have bought a replacement and given it to her when you told her that you had an accident with the old one. Your biggest fault here was offering to replace it instead of just doing the right thing. Not the asshole. People still have trouble comprehending on this sub. What is the point of offering to replace the book? Gee, I was doing something foolish and ended up destroying your property. Would you like me to replace it? Or can I just forget it and move on? Would you like the waterlogged copy back? Like what? You should have automatically have bought a new one. How is there even any confusion here? You're the asshole. You for taking a borrowed book into the bath. And your friend for pretending like everything's fine and then talking behind your back about it. If you want to preserve the friendship, tell her that you know what she's been saying. You'll get a new copy of the book for her. But that it hurts you that she told you it was a non-issue and then implied to others that you hadn't tried to fix it. How she responds will be very telling, and you can go from there. You for reading a book that wasn't yours in a risky situation. Her for denying your offer to replace the book and going behind your back and telling people you didn't offer to. All you can do now is replace the book. Present it to your friend loudly and publicly, making sure that to remind her that even though she denied your offer of replacing the book, you did so anyways because you were tired of hearing her talk about you behind your back. And then cut her off. You don't need people like that in your life. Info. Is she British? If she is, then she probably wanted you to replace the book, but couldn't say so. I know you asked, and she said no. But if you replace it, then nah. Yes. You're the asshole. You shouldn't offer to replace the book. You should just replace it and consider yourself lucky that it is easily replaceable. You should have replaced the book immediately and given it to her when you returned the book she loaned you. It shouldn't have been a matter of asking her. She sucks because after denying your offer to replace the book, she's talking shit behind your back. That's not cool. Even if at the time she didn't want you to replace it and she changed her mind, she should have reached out to you to tell you. Everyone here should take responsibility for their actions. Yours should have been to replace it when returning it. But you did the second best thing and offered to. She declined multiple offers and should take responsibility for having done so by not intimating to others that you didn't try to mend the situation. Since you can only control your own actions, go get a used copy in good condition and send it to her. I'm saying not the asshole. I had something similar happen to me. And when someone is adamant about it and won't accept a new copy or the money to replace it, then they shouldn't be complaining or name-calling. You definitely should not be reading a book belonging to someone else in the bath. And once it was ruined, you should have replaced it immediately. However, since she refused your offer of a replacement, she should not be going around telling lies. You should buy her another copy ASAP. It will help show everyone you are sorry. YTA for reading in the tub. Pretty dumb move. But she's also an awe for waiving your offer to replace it but implying to other people that you made no attempt to. Not the asshole, but I wonder whether you heard her when she refused your offer to buy a new book. I would probably also refuse, but I would still totally not be happy about it. If that is the case with her, you could think about doing something nice for her. Either replace the book though, or buy a different book for her to make up for it. You were not careful with the borrowed book, and some making up for it would be appropriate. Is this book replaceable? Did you borrow a book with sentimental value to your friend that is out of print? Or is it a mass market paperback that came out in the last year or so? But you can fix your end. Buy a new book. Write a note of apology and tuck it inside. I'm so sorry for being careless with your book. I should never had treated it like my own and read it in the tub. I know you said not to worry about replacing it, but some of our mutual friends fear that you were just being polite and would actually prefer I replace the book. Again, I am so sorry for ruining your book. This accomplishes two things. You make right what you did wrong, and you acknowledge that she wasn't honest with you in the moment and that she has gossiped instead of talking with you. You should have already had a replacement ready when you returned the book. You knew it was ruined. She shouldn't have told you not to worry about it, but then complain behind your back. If you replace the book, then she'll have nothing left to complain about. And you'll have done what you should have in the first place. When you ruin an item of someone else, you shouldn't have to ask them if it needs to be replaced. Of course, it needs replaced. Your friend should not have been put in the position to tell you to replace something. You should have bought a new book and gave it to her with the ruined one along with an apology. But your friend also shouldn't be taking this to other people versus talking to you and telling you to replace her book. Best practices is to just replace it without asking. People often feel uncomfortable asking for someone to pay for something, so it's best to just do it up front. That being said, she could have 1 said yes to you replacing it or 2 not talk behind your back about it. A bathtub is a pretty idiotic place to read a borrowed book. You have all day to read it and you choose the 15-minute soak where your hands get wet and you need your hands to use the thing that isn't yours? Replace the book since you do owe her, but cut contact as she trampled on your name to your mutuals. In spite of your offer. Mild. If your mutual friends wonder why you no longer speak to her, explain your side of the story and that you offered to replace it. You're the asshole. You should never have offered to replace it. You should have just bought a new one and given her the new copy.